US economy actually shrunk down by 0.3% in the first quarter of 2025, and S&P has already downgraded its US GDP growth forecast to 1.5% in 2025. This is obviously a lot of worrying news for anybody who's aspiring to study or be in US anytime soon. In fact, multiple clients did apply to non-US universities as well this year, and in fact we got results or admits from NUS Singapore, King's College London, University of Edinburgh and some other UK universities. Are those students planning to go to these non-US universities is something I will discuss at the end of this video. But I want to tackle the bigger question today because that is what everybody is thinking, that should you still go to US when there is such an economic slowdown going on, or when there are also recession fears and economy is facing one of its worst years in the history. So would you still consider US for studying abroad in next 1, 2 or 3 years? That is what I will be discussing today, and in the end I will be giving you my opinion on the topic as well. So all this on the other side of the intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're finding the information useful, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me as a creator. Now today's topic is very important. In fact, if I open YouTube right now, and because my feed is full of study abroad videos, I see so many videos which are titled "Don't come to US in 2025." And I get how scary this sounds, how anxiety inducing it can be. And in fact, every conversation I'm happening with my client, everybody is asking the same question. With all this going on, does it really even make sense to go to US this year? So it's a complex question, but I don't want to answer it diplomatically, right? I want to analyze it very, very realistically and give you my honest opinion about this topic. So I want to talk about 3 things today. First is, how bad is the situation in US? Number 2 is, what are people missing about this? So I think they are looking at the incomplete picture here. So how can we holistically think about this topic? And number 3, what does it mean for you? Should you defer your decision to go abroad, or should you still go to US this year? And what is a non-cliche way to think about all this? That is what I will tell you. This is a information and opinion packed video. And before we proceed, please try to like the video or subscribe to the channel if it has been helping you so far. Now let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is how bad is the situation in US. Now I'm not talking about deportation, visa cancellations, etc., because I have covered those in previous videos too. Today I want to talk more about the behind the scenes impact, and number 1 impact is the cost. So let's understand the financial impact on international students. Now because of the tariffs, there is obviously the imported goods are going to become more expensive. It is projected that groceries itself are going to be like 2.4% to 5% extra expensive now. Chinese imports in electronics and education materials will be more expensive, which means that if you have to buy laptops, textbooks, etc., you will have to now shell out more money. Then there is an increased tariff on construction materials, which means higher housing costs. So if you're somebody living off campus, your rent and utility expenses will also go up. Overall, it is being said that US household will pay an additional $4,000 to $5,000 extra in 2025 because of all the tariffs. But that's not all, because it is much more expensive for business to run their operations now. They are going to pass this cost over to the end customer. And let's not forget that universities are a business as well, right? So they are increasing their tuition. For example, Harvard's tuition was around $82,000 per annum in 2021, and it is somewhere around $86,000 per annum in 2025. So yes, everything is going to be more costly. Second impact I see is on the economy. So let's look at broader economic effects. Here, of course, we understand that there is an inflation because of tariffs, with core consumption expenditures or PCE is projected to reach 3.8% by December 2025, which means an overall increase in cost of living. Secondly, US dollar is weakening, and it has weakened by approximately 9% since the implementation of the tariffs. This reduces the purchasing power of international students' funds. Now, of course, this is good for students who are going to pay the tuition fee, but it's not good for somebody who has started earning there and who are who are buying things in dollars. Then overall, the economic growth itself is affected. So the Penn Wharton budget model is projecting that the tariffs will reduce long run GDP by about 6% and wages by 5%. This obviously directly impacts the job opportunity for students after their graduation. Overall, job market always weakens when economy is suffering on other fronts because everyone wants to save on extra costs. So yes, it's a weaker economy that you will face this year and potentially the next year as well. Third impact is on the educational infrastructure. Now, the biggest reason people go to US apart from job opportunities is of course the quality of education. It has always been top notch. But let's see what Trump administration is doing. So there is a direct financial impact on universities. For example, you must have read the news that Columbia University has faced a $400 million federal funding cut, and because of this they had to also lay off around 180 staff members. And why? Because Trump administration did not like how the university handled the anti-Israel and other campus protests. Secondly, you must have heard all the news against the Harvard University as they took a stance against Trump's intervention in education. This has led to a freeze of over $2.2 billion in federal funds, and Trump is also threatening that it will revoke the university's tax-exempt status. This could mean that Harvard has to pay an estimated $465 million in annual taxes. And of course, where is this going to come from? Of course, this is going to affect directly the funds available for scholarships and research. And apart from these university-specific interventions, I am worried about the overall research and academic freedom that is being curtailed. For example, grants have been revoked from institutions like NIH, which used to give such good summer internships for students in healthcare, social sciences, etc. So this is around Maryland, and they used to have very, very good summer internship options. The funding has been cut and they are no longer offering research internships in 2025. Then also, administration is directly intervening in the admission process itself, the diversity initiatives and student political activities. So all this means that the funding opportunities, admission for international students are getting negatively impacted, and honestly this is pretty unprecedented. Like, we have never seen historically such kind of intervention from a government body in the way that education is being handled by the US university. So yes, this is very surprising and something new. Now I want to come to the second major topic for today's video, which is what is everybody missing about this topic, right? So while we focus on the uncertainty in US economy is in a tricky position, etc., we need to also understand what is going on in India, because if you stay back, what kind of challenges are you going to face here is something you should be very clear on. And one major challenge we see is that there can be an impact on the Indian economy as well because of these tariffs. And number one reason for that is that our Indian IT firms rely heavily on the US clients. So according to this news by Financial Times, US makes up at least 50% of the client base for our IT companies. And if Trump's trade war pushes the American economy into recession, large US corporations will tighten their belt, not immediately invest in expanding their IT capabilities, which will directly hit our order books. On top of that, Indian model hinges on sending software engineers from India to overseas client sites. This could take a big hit from the America First policies of Trump if the US cuts down on the number of H-1B visas. So yes, we are seeing a shakedown in Indian IT companies. The Nifty IT index dropped nearly 1.5% after the tariff announcements. Overall, Indian GDP growth is also getting impacted, and organizations are reducing their forecast for GDP growth from 6.7% to around 6.1%. And lastly, of course, other kind of exports in India, which includes pharmaceuticals, automotive components, gems, jewelries, etc. And overall, our export to US were valued around $65 billion. Everything will get impacted because of the tariff. So even our economy is going to get affected. I then also want to talk about the college placements in India, because if you're a student, if you're an Indian student, you have to look at what kind of job opportunities will open up for you if you don't go abroad. As per a Economic Times report, we are seeing that the placements are kind of stagnating in India, even in top institutes like IITs. So already in 2024, IITs saw a sharp drop in placement rates from 90% in 2022 to 80%, with up to 38% of students remaining unplaced. Median salaries were also down by 15 to 20%, and fewer companies are participating in campus hiring. Now, despite an optimistic start in 2025, the final placement figures for the class of 2025 at older IITs are expected to show only a slight improvement. For example, IIT BHU's 20% of the batch is still unplaced, and IIT Hyderabad placement rate is also around 70% only. Same case with IIT Guwahati and other tier 2 IITs. Colleges are reporting that in particular software and data analysis kind of roles have seen a noticeable slowdown. And of course, US market downturn means that companies with significant exposure to the US market will no longer offer the same lucrative packages that they used to originally. One important point to note is also that MTech and PhD placements are impacted more negatively than bachelors. So if you really want to do a master's, doing it from India may not make more sense either. Thirdly, what I'm noticing is that India is overall lagging in the innovation department. I feel like developments in India are still not giving the confidence that we will be able to lead in AI innovation anytime soon. Now, the future is AI, and countries which seem to have a grasp on it will dictate the terms. Do we have the faith that India will be able to compete with US and China? And what does this mean for your career if you stay back in India? I wrote a post on LinkedIn about how 48 is the new 58. Mid-level employees are silently getting laid off. If you don't upskill yourself and follow your normal career trajectory in India, would you be able to survive the mid-career crisis? Would you rather be in a country where you can see scope of growth and learning? That is the $1,000,000 question. Instead of innovation, we are getting involved in wars with the neighboring countries, tariff playoffs with the US, and while I'm super proud of our defense services, war is not good for anybody's career. So all these factors directly impact the Indian job market, and to really answer the question whether US is worth studying in these times, you have to also answer, if I don't go to US, then what do I do instead? So my question is that if you're discarding studying in US, can you hope any better by staying in India? This brings me to the last part of the video, which is, should you go abroad or defer your plans? Now here's the situation in 2025. US has Trump, tariffs and layoffs. Canada doesn't have enough jobs to sustain its growing immigrants. UK's job market remains a question mark. Immigration policies are really fickle. Germany has lethargic employment and cultural disconnect. Ireland doesn't have jobs for freshers. Australia's ROI is questionable. All this we have covered in different videos. Does it mean you should not go and study abroad? Point is that there is no perfect destination anymore. Even India cannot provide opportunities to all its students because we simply don't have the resources or infra for it. So instead of looking for a perfect destination, I think you should analyze your situation and choose a place where you can see the maximum upside. It could be US, it could be Europe, or it could be India. But you have to figure that out for yourself. Secondly, tariffs are an evolving news item, right? Like, let's just look at this pic and we see how the US-China tariffs have gone up and down again and again. So from 10% on Feb 4th to going up to 145% on April 9th. Then they went back again to 30% by May 14th. This is because of the recent 90-day tariff reduction plan. So, I mean, while the pause is temporary, I think there could be substantive negotiation which will again lead to longer term agreements, and we will see how this plays out. Similarly, India has also shown willingness to reduce its tariff gaps with the US. The point is, a lot is happening on the tariffs front and we cannot entirely predict what will be the tariff number 4 to 6 months down the line. Since US already started with very high numbers, they can only go down from there is what everyone is hoping. So my advice is, like, instead of basing your decision on such volatile news items which are happening, I think you need to think long term. You need to remind yourself why you decided to study abroad in the first place. Maybe you wanted to work in better jobs, maybe you wanted better salaries, and most importantly, maybe you wanted a better quality of life. If those reasons are still true, and if you think a destination can give you all that, then you should definitely try for it. If you were going to find a stable life and a new passport, and that was the primary reason why you wanted to move abroad, maybe you want to rethink, because immigration is the big question mark in 2025. But lastly, whatever you decide, you need to stay more prepared. If you have good work experience but you're not happy in your current job, it's a good time to go back to study and upskill yourself. If you're feeling financially stressed, then maybe get some work ex first. So these kind of nuanced decision making is something you will have to do actively based on your circumstances. Now, coming back to my clients who had admits from universities abroad, even they are going to US only, and I think it's a matter of calculated risk taking. People want to see where they can get the maximum upside, and they are managing the risk from their end. So similarly, I think you have to assess how do you calculate this risk to reward ratios between different countries, and then decide if US can give you the scope of growth that you are looking for. And lastly, make yourself aware of the scholarships and funding options in your target countries so that you can reduce the cost of your education. We do have a solid funding masterclass if you're targeting US. We will leave the link below in the description box if you want to check it out. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I will have more content coming up. And yes, I would love to hear your opinion on today's video. What do you think is happening, and what are you deciding? Are you looking at options other than US now, or are you still planning to study in US? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.